Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. What makes a father? Well, for starters, a man who actually wants to be around. Today in the rLounge, a baby daddy with a hidden agenda wakes up one day and suddenly thinks he'd like to talk to a daughter he's never spoken to. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter's father we are not a family? I, 33 female, am a single mother to a 6-year-old girl. I've raised my daughter all on my own. She was born from a one-night stand with a now former friend, 37 male. We never got together, and he refused to be involved in my pregnancy or my daughter's first 4 years of life. I was stressed out emotionally because it's a big change, but I never asked for child support or forced him to be involved. I have enough income to send my daughter to private school. I'm perfectly fine on my own. The issue started when he reappeared from wherever he went and decided he wanted a visitation. He's not on my daughter's birth certificate. Father is listed as unknown. He wanted to have that amended. I said no, and that if he wants, the best he'll get is to meet her in outings with myself or my daughter's godparents. He agreed, but he's been constantly pressuring getting parental rights. Court already gave him a big fat no, unless he pays 4 years of child support, which with his income goes somewhere around $230K US dollars. He hasn't paid a cent. My daughter doesn't even call him dad, or recognize him as dad. She calls him Mr. I keep it very clean. I never bad-talked him, never made up stories. When she asked about her father, I used to say it was just the two of us. Even during court, the assigned CPS agent testified that my daughter had no affection or clear relationship with her biological father. Now the main issue happening in a PTA meeting. He would say things like, "My family thinks," or "What is best for my family?" I didn't agree with him, and I voiced it by saying, "My daughter has different needs, and those are priority." He was clearly angry. After the meeting, there was a moment for teachers and parents to mingle and just talk how the kids are doing. One of the teachers approached me to apologize, saying she didn't know my husband and I didn't like a project she was doing with the kids. I told her I had no husband, and my daughter loved the project and wants to be a part of it. The teacher then told me that my former friend was going around talking like he's my husband, and he represents the family. I saw red. I walked to him and very loudly told him we needed to talk in private. In the parking lot, I told him we were not a family, and that he either will respect I am the only one that can make decisions on my daughter's education, or he won't be involved. He went on about being her biological father. Then I reminded him he had not paid a cent for the pregnancy, my daughter's needs, or even the private school my daughter is in. He hasn't tried to see my daughter since, which she doesn't mind at all. I asked her, I do feel a bit bad about what I said. Am I the a-hole? I wanted to add this because the PMs are driving me insane. He has the money to pay child support. He chose not to pay. He was never prohibited from being involved. He had my phone number. I sent him pictures and invited him to birthdays and other big celebrations. He never came. PSA, we are not in the US. Let's get a quick comment from the community. Why is he in a PTA meeting with you? Have you told the school that he can't pick her up? Not the a-hole. He decided to leave and did not support you during the pregnancy or the first 4 years of her life. He is not a parent. He might be the father in the same sense that he is the bio parent, but he is not a father to your daughter. The OP replies, he actually forced himself into the meeting. I wanted to give it a chance for him to be involved. I didn't expect him to act this way, though. OP was voted not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole here, OP. You said it yourself. He had no interest in the first 4 years. So what suddenly changed? It might be best for you and your daughter to seek full custody at this point. You don't want him trying anything sneaky like this again. Yeah, you want to give him a chance, but he's clearly violated that. If he was really wanting to try to be a father, he'd try a lot harder. Being a husband and a father means more than just spitting the word out of your mouth to anyone that will listen. It's a title you have to earn. Thoughts? What should OP do? The OP posts in Entitledparents 8 days later. My daughter's father wants to use her therapy for his wife. I, 33 female, going to preface this by saying my 6-year-old daughter's father, 37 male, I'm going to call him Jeff, has never been my romantic partner. We had a one-night stand. I don't like people calling him my ex, since it makes it seem we had some kind of emotional attachment. He was never involved after I told him I was pregnant and actually wanted me to terminate the pregnancy, but I decided to raise my child alone since I have enough money to raise her without child support. For the whole pregnancy and the first 4 years, Jeff was not in the picture. On my mother's recommendation, I did send him pictures and invited him to special events, but he always replied he had no interest in my daughter. 2 years ago, he reappeared and began demanding parental rights. When I didn't do what he wanted, he sued and was told no, he was not getting parental rights. He was given the offer to pay child support and then we can revisit giving him actual rights, but he has refused. He has the money, much more than me, but he refuses. I still offer to let him see my daughter in a casual manner, no child support needed, with the agreement anything legal, medical, or educational will not involve him. He pushed the boundaries and we had a fallout. After that, we didn't hear from him for almost 6 weeks before he called to meet for Christmas. After much discussion, I agreed to bring my daughter over on the condition my daughter's godparents could come. Thus, we went over for Christmas dinner, and finding out Jeff is married and had never told his family he had a child. It was great to be judged by a bunch of strangers. It was uncomfortable the whole time. I'm going to use fake names, but let's say my daughter's name is Kate. His wife kept calling my daughter Gabrielle. Not the actual name she used, but it was that different to my daughter's name. The wife was also very physical, trying to pick up my daughter or parent her. I would block her or tell her to please let me deal with my child. The whole time she pretty much ignored me, but Katie didn't seem nervous, so I decided to just bid my time. I hit my limit when my daughter said she needed the bathroom, and the stranger went, "Oh, Gabby, you need a potty? Let mommy change you." My daughter hasn't worn diapers in a while now, and she's more than capable of going alone to the bathroom. I immediately told her to stay away from my daughter and that we were leaving. The woman started wailing that I was kidnapping her baby girl and tried to lunge at me. Her in-laws got in the middle and held her, consoling her and saying that we weren't leaving and for her to calm down like she was the victim. At that point, I just glared at Jeff and told him he'd better explain or I would be calling the police. He asked me to speak in private in another room and that I could just leave my daughter with his parents. No way that would ever happen. Katie's godparents took her with them despite the wife having a full meltdown. Jeff and I spoke outside and he explained that he and his wife recently lost a daughter. I'm not going to give specific details on that. All I'll say it was sudden and nobody's fault. And as I can only imagine, it has caused some psychological issues with his wife. Apparently he had the brilliant idea that having Katie pass as their lost child would help his wife, without telling me. And that's why he wanted visitation and parental rights. He pleaded for me to leave my daughter with him for a little bit. I asked him what was his plan when his wife heals. His response was disgusting. "Well, I'll just send Katie back with you and it will be just like before." I told him he was insane if he thought I would let him use my daughter like that. What his wife needs is therapy with a professional, not feeding her delusions. And I would not let that woman within miles from my daughter. He told me I was being cruel and didn't know the pain of losing a child. I agreed with him, but reminded Jeff that my priority is not his family, it's my child. What he and his family do to work through their grief has nothing to do with us. I also told him to call his lawyer because I'm making sure he never has contact with my child. So that's what I'm bracing for. He's been blasting my phone since Christmas, but I can easily ignore him. My daughter and I are doing a small travel vacation. This isn't an update, just something I feel needs to be said. My daughter is set for life monetarily. She has a trust and I make really good money in my position. If she was 18 right now, I could put her through college without a loan. She doesn't need child support for equality of life. If I could get child support and never worry about her father trying something, I would be suing him in a heartbeat. But after talking to a lawyer and realizing the risk, I've taken the decision that child support or possible inheritance is not worth my child's safety. Safety is always first. January 6th, 2024. Hey everyone, Happy New Year's. This isn't so much of a real update as just letting people know we are home and safe. My daughter is spending the rest of her vacation with her godparents on another trip while I work on things. Moving might be something I'll be looking into, though that is a long-term plan considering all it takes. I won't share too many details on what my lawyer is going to be doing, but we are absolutely going to push for a restraining order. I might not post for some time, at least not until things get settled. I do appreciate all the support and good advice. I'm taking a lot of it into account as I plan how to move forward. Ah yes, the motive reveals itself. So suddenly he wants to play family. Did not see that coming. Not only was that cruel to do to your daughter, but it was cruel to do to his own wife. Update. Hey everyone, I decided to post a last update, since I will be going silent for a long period. For those that don't know, I'm right now dealing with my daughter's father and his delusion. He wants to use my daughter as a therapy doll for his wife that recently lost a child. A lot of people were worried for my daughter and me, and I truly appreciate it. We're both safe. She's currently having a great vacation with her godparents, and I'm currently making my own arrangements to move on. My lawyer is working hard on keeping everything in order. I know a cease and desist was his first action and we are going for no contact. He says we have a solid case and hopefully this will be resolved relatively fast. And by that, I mean a year or two. We did get a temporary restraining order. It's only until our first court date, but after it could be extended. I haven't had direct contact with Jeff. He lawyered up too and tried to send a threat to take full custody. My lawyer laughed at it since his reasoning was parental alienation, except I have proof I have tried for years to have him involved. Apparently turning in a few emails showing my attempts was enough to get them to change parental alienation to a different reasoning. My lawyer is not worried in all honesty. For now, I've decided after much thinking that moving is going to be necessary. It won't be something I can do on a whim, but I'll be looking into new homes within the month to hopefully move sometime this year. School will remain the same, but we will be speaking to the admin to make sure only certain people can pick her up. And part of that decision has been to hire a private driver. He's someone I absolutely trust and has worked for relatives in the past, so I'm very comfortable with the idea, and so is my daughter. Now I just have to make sure they don't go to fast food every day after school. Things, in all honesty, are not that scary right now. I have a good lawyer, good evidence, and my little girl is happy and healthy, so I'm just going to focus on working things little by little. Because of the legal proceedings, I don't think I'll be posting any updates anytime soon. And to those sending me PMs telling me I'm horrible for keeping my daughter from her father, or telling me I shouldn't have had her in the first place, please kindly speak to the void. I'm too busy. I'm sorry he's made things complicated for you and your daughter, OP. He's literally kicked the dirt up. He's definitely not the brightest bulb in the box, thinking that the daughter he's never tried to father is suddenly the answer to all of his life's problems now. His thought process is dangerous and also scary. Good on you for taking action and protecting yourselves from his unhinged antics. What do you think? What would you have done if you were OP? Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.